WagerTalk Today, WagerTalk Today, Cyber Monday today, December 1st. Welcome to the show. I am Steve Merril, filling in for Andy Lang. He will be back tomorrow, but I had to get on board for Cyber Monday. Anxiously waiting for this great day because you get 20% off everything at WagerTalk.com with Cyber 20. We'll talk more about that throughout the show. You see it scrolling below as well as the show goes. But let's get right to it. It's Monday, December the 1st, a new month, the final month of 2025, and there's some big action to talk about. Loaded show here for this Monday. Gianni The Greek with the Steam Report as always, and then, of course, Bill Krackomberger. And then I'm normally on Mondays in the third spot, but we're bringing on Andrew McInnis to talk Monday Night Football and some NHL. And then I'll have a free NBA play afterwards. So let's get right to it. The Steam Report, Gianni The Greek from Las Vegas, Nevada. You know, Gianni, I heard you say last week when I was on Monday after you that you love the week of Thanksgiving. There's so much action. Hope it treated you well, and I hope you're looking forward to December now also.
Yeah, and I live for spots like that and finished number one in profit last 3 days, number one in profit last 7 days. So the Thanksgiving weekend was really good for us overall. NFL, college football, when all the dust settled, we turned to profit, which is always a good thing. And this is what we're going to be looking at over the next couple of weeks. Like the market participants start to change, kind of like Thanksgiving weekend, where you have a lot of people off from work, they're drinking, they're watching these standalone TV games, they're betting. I even had a girl that I haven't talked to in like 2 years reach out and ask me like, hey, do you know any bets I should place today? I swear to you. I'm like, what? Like out of nowhere. So obviously more and more people are being introduced to gambling and betting and around the holidays. And yeah, it gives us extra value, especially with all these bowl games and college football playoffs and championship week. Like those are golden opportunities to find some undervalued and overvalued teams. Now, Steam Report real quickly. I'm just going to share what's in the Steam sheet already because that's where all that gold goes in that I'm not using as premium because it's just so much volume. But here's some college basketball for you that we bet early. 881 Cal Baptist plus 13.5. 880 Kansas State minus 12. 871 Temple plus 14. And also Middle Tennessee. Bought that up to plus 3, and they took out the 2.5s as well. NBA, 535 over 232, Washington and Milwaukee. 537 under 234, Atlanta, Detroit. 541 Clippers plus 6.5. 547 Dallas plus 11.5. And finally, NHL 33 Columbus plus 135, 130. 36 Buffalo minus 115. 38 St. Louis minus 145. And here's one for you. 39 Utah minus 155, 160. That got upgraded to a premium play. So that was already on the Steam sheet for those guys that got that early. And then I got confirmation and we actually fired premium on Utah at, I think, minus 158, 159. But I think that's good up to minus 170. So that's the premium in the NHL. Also released a premium 4% in college basketball that's on that Steam sheet. And I'm just looking to get some confirmation on this big NFL game tonight. Coming off of Sunday, a lot of dogs got the money. So books don't have all that much risk. That's why we're not seeing too much of a line move on Monday night so far, Steve.
Yeah, Yanni, I was going to ask you about that. You know, the Commanders heading into overtime last night had a chance to be the 8th out of 15 teams to win outright as a dog this week in the NFL, I believe. They came up a little bit short, missed the 2-point conversion. Otherwise, we would have had more than half the dogs win outright. It was almost half. What were your thoughts on that? Obviously, Thursday and Friday, all 4 underdogs won straight up. A lot of people were chirping about that. You know, nobody likes to play the ugly teams in December, especially coming up here. But long-term, if you play those non-playoff teams against teams with need, you probably have come out ahead over the years with some line value.
It's running out of a burning building and running into it while everyone's running out. Like nobody wanted to buy Bitcoin down at 18,000 in 2022 when FTX collapsed and everybody China banned it and all bad noise and news. But when it 4 and 5x those people's money within, 24 months, those people that had that courage are really rewarded for it. And it's kind of like that now in football and all sports towards the end of the season. We've already concluded who the good teams are, who the bad teams are. But the spread always becomes the great equalizer, just like the money line. And what happens is it becomes difficult for us to bet some of these bad teams. I had a really strong suspicion that dogs were going to do well this weekend. And here's why. Because all the noise going into Thanksgiving weekend was just how well the favorites have done for bettors. All the talk was how the books get crushed on Thanksgiving, how over the last blah, blah, blah years, favorites went blah, blah, blah. And all you have to do is pick the right side. You'll pick the winner in the NFL. I just kept hearing all that noise going into Thanksgiving weekend. And as soon as Green Bay beat Detroit, the stage was set for that to continue. So I really wasn't all that surprised. Now, looking at this Monday night game, it's pretty simple because you're looking at a 7-point line move. It's what is your conclusion? Strength of schedule or what you actually see? And here's what I mean. You look at the point differential. New England's outscored their opponents by an average of about 8 points per game. Giants point differential, they've been outscored by about an average of 6 points per game. So we're looking at a touchdown difference in point differential between these teams. No surprise, we're looking at a touchdown point spread as well. But here's the difference. The big difference between these two teams, Steve, is this. It's strength of schedule. Do you think New England's legit? Because they've had the 32nd toughest strength of schedule. So no team has had an easier go of it this year than New England. And yet, with that easiest strength of schedule, they've produced the 10-2 straight up mark, but efficiency, they're not even top 15 offensively. Defense, they just cracked the top 10 in efficiency. So stat-wise, even though they've had the easiest schedule, they're an average NFL team as far as the stats go. So on paper, they don't appear to be a legit 10-2 team. Is that because of the easy strength of schedule? You can only play who's in front of you. Flip side, look at the New York Giants. Nothing to get excited about stat-wise. You know, they're 23rd offensively, 28th, 29th defensively, but they've also had the third toughest schedule. So only two other teams had a more difficult strength of schedule than the Giants. So they're the opposite end of the spectrum. They're a 2-10 team that has played nothing but world beaters. New England's a 10-2 team that's had a really easy go of it. That's what this game comes down to. Like, are the Giants battle tested because of that? And we've seen over the last 3 weeks, they've covered the number, meaning they're not getting blown out by margin, which is what you're going to need in this game, kind of a double-digit win to get the cover. Will that effort still be there since it's Monday night, even though it's out of conference, even though it's, you know, traveling on the road to New England, not really a big game for a 2-10 Giants team. They're not playing for anything but pride at this point. That's what makes this game fun, I think, to handicap. I haven't fired yet. Again, not the tout, but my results on primetime games speak for themselves. Coming off another 2-0 sweep, had Washington and the over. That's 5 straight Sunday night bets. So our prime times, Sunday, Monday nights, I think over the last like 22, 23 bets up around 70%. So I wait to see how the line starts to move during the day. Look for some confirmation signals that have worked for me as far as prime time goes. And if I get them, a package will be up within the next, probably hour or two. Otherwise, we're going to look forward to championship week and week 14 of the NFL. No reason to chase because we're in the driver's seat heading into tonight.
I'll tell you what, Gianni, no matter what side you like in this Monday night football game, you're getting either Patriots -7 or Giants +7.5. They're both available right now. The juice is obviously a little bit different. People talk about this a lot with key numbers like 3 and 7. How much extra juice are you willing to pay to take the Giants at +7.5? Right now, they're showing -120 in some spots. If you're only getting New England -110, some reduced juice books, you might get 108. But basically, you can get New England -7 flat or Giants +7.5 -120. Is it worth the extra 10 cents for that key half point in this situation?
To 7.5, no. If it was
No.
like 6.5 to 7, because that's the difference between a push and a loss, I would say yes. And I think it's actually like up to 24 cents. I don't have the exact price in front of me, but it is warranted. From 7 to 7.5, I don't think you're getting the best of it. I think you're better off taking that just the Giants at 7. Where with New England, if you could buy it down to 6.5, I think up to like 125, it's worth buying that half a point, actually paying a little more than that 120, because now you're coming off that 7. But going from 7 to 7.5 isn't as advantageous as going from like 7 to 6.5 or 6.5 to 7. That's why I would rather take the reduced juice, and take the 7 if possible, or lay the 7, as opposed to buying the half a points. Because again, the difference is if it lands on 7, you push, as opposed to if it's 6.5, it lands on 7, you would lose otherwise.
And it's interesting, the public is not necessarily on one side or the other. This game did not make my video. By the way, Fade the Public went 3-1 yesterday on Sunday. It's over 60% this season. So with the dogs covering, yes, that helped because the 4 public plays last night, or yesterday and last night, were all favorites, including the Broncos. And boy, that Bronco game, talk about line moves once again, was sitting around 6. I did the video earlier in the week. It dropped to 5.5. I really liked not my Commanders last night. One of the few times I'll say it was my Commanders, because I just felt like it was an ugly dog off the bye. By the way, the comments in my Fade the Public video were about as one-sided on any game I've seen all season. Nobody wanted the Commanders last night. Everybody was like, Denver pass, Denver pass. I liked them more after seeing that. And the line dropped a little during the week. So it was a sharp square divide.
You're not seeing that tonight, are you?
Yeah. What's that?
Are you seeing anything like that tonight? I'm not really seeing that.
No, I'm not. I did a standalone video for this game. I haven't checked the comments today, but when I checked them yesterday on Sunday for this Monday night game, it was very neutral. I wasn't seeing a lot of love for either team. And once again, New England was not a real public play. And I think it's because, as you said, the Giants have looked serviceable here in recent weeks. But I'll bring up that key number of 7 again, because, yes, the Giants have looked serviceable, but they're still, 2-10 on the season. They've lost 6 in a row. And if you look at those recent losses, every one of them, 4 of the last 5 have been by 7 or more.
By double digits. Yes, they're covering, but they're getting a lot of points. That's
right. So 7 really, I think, is the key to. Let's call for a push tonight. What are the odds that we get a push?
Yeah, they are losing by margin. It doesn't appear that way, but when they lose, it has been by margin. That's the problem.
And they do have Jackson Dart. We haven't mentioned his name yet, I don't think, but Jackson Dart's expected to be back tonight. We'll see how much of a spark he is for that offense. But yeah, interesting matchup tonight on Monday Night Football, but they don't seem very public. And, you would think fading a 2-10 team with the mighty Patriots, who have one of the best records in the NFL. Yanni, the more I dig into this public data, I use all these filters. This has become a filter I start to use. I like favorites a little bit more when they're not public, if that makes sense.
100%. When I see them on the dog.
Well, obviously, yeah, we love to fade the public dogs, but even if it's neutral, I'm starting to lean that way towards favorites.
Yeah.
It's an interesting subset to use here. And it applies tonight. We'll see what happens. And by the way, the Giants, 6-1 to the over their last 7. And Jameis Winston, I think, still has numbers as good as Dart as far as yards per pass and some other metrics this year. And he obviously had a monster game last week against the Lions, who are in a bit of a tailspin as well. Yanni, it's Cyber Monday. Instant 20% off everything you want to buy with Cyber 20. It's that simple. Use that promo code for anything on anybody's page. Let people know what you've got at WagerTalk.com.
Yeah, jump on board for the next couple weeks and months. Like I said, I'm really excited about the bowl season. Historically, the numbers speak for themselves. Having a phenomenal college football season, up over 120 units, profitable in NFL as well. Just excited for what's ahead. Lock in for long term. If you're a regular subscriber, you also get the Steam Sheet free. So it's not extra for subscribers. So you get everything I get that comes across my screen. You also have access to it now. So you can decide what you want to piggyback. As far as the premiums, you see the volume's very, very tightened now and only firing the very strongest, mostly all 4% in there. So again, excited about the last results of late and looking forward to the next couple of weeks. Let's do some damage over the holiday season. Best of luck to everybody.
Thanks, Gianni. Great seeing you as always. And he said he had a great week. Well, he did. He's number 1 the last 7 days in net profit at WagerTalk, over 25 units in just 7 days. So not a bad time to get on board and use that promo code CYBER20 for an instant 20% discount on anything you buy today and today only at WagerTalk.com. All right, let's bring on the Crack Man. I'm excited to talk to Bill. This is the first time I think we've ever done a show together, actually, on WagerTalk TV. Bill, good to see you. Hope you had a nice Thanksgiving weekend as well, but I'm sure it was a busy, work-filled one.
Yes. Hey, Steve. Yeah, doing about 12 or 13 shows a week. I do my Fox Sports radio show on the weekends, but I also do other Fox hits throughout the week, promoting that show, commercials for one of the sites, and VSiN and tons of things on Wager Talk now. So I have this show I do Monday morning. Kelly in Vegas and I do a show, and I'm doing a show at Al in Boston, which we just filmed yesterday. It's up now. Alan, one of the genius minds in the industry. It's always good to pick his brain. I put a Q&A up for that. And it's going really good though, Steve. I appreciate your stuff. Your bet against the public, like you said, it's fade the public. Is that what the name of it is? Fade the public, like 60% this year.
Yeah, it's worked well. It's worked well over the years. Last year was interesting because September, and then of course October was probably the best favorites month ever in NFL history last year. And then the public, when they take it, they give it back, and they did the second half of the season last year. But from this year, from week 1 on, it's been consistent, just a solid 60. I'm using a few different filters this year, so a little more selective maybe is helping. I'm not just throwing everything out there for the video, but it'll be interesting to see what happens. But what is your take? Half the underdogs won outright this week. Had the Commanders pulled it out with a 2-point conversion, I think it would have been 8 out of the 15.
What's my take?
Yeah.
I don't have to bring out the collection bucket for the bookmakers that I usually on the street. I'm on the street there trying to help them every once in a while when they cry on Twitter or whatever other forms of social media. That's not going to happen the rest of the year. It's not going to happen this year. Books are making a fortune. Thursday and Friday might have been the most profitable 24 hours sports books have ever had. That's how much money they made.
Wow.
People putting Baltimore and the Eagles in their money line parlay. Oh, this is just a enhancer for the parlays, and books made a fortune. I talked to someone this morning who asked me some questions who I really respect in the industry. We're going back and forth, and he said he never seen anything like it in his operation. So, I talked to a lot of these books on the strip, and they're very honest to me as long as I don't reveal the inside information of the sports book. But they're doing very, very well. And people just throw these money lines in there thinking, oh, yeah, that's an easy win. Well, I've been saying for 30 years on shows, since the mid-'90s with Larry Grossman and Len Banker here in Las Vegas, talking about parity in the league and the NFL. Any given Sunday, anything can and will happen. And, people get upset at me. There was a lot of guys that used to sell games say, Crack, what are you doing talking about the NFL? Well, I'm just going to tell you. I bet props. I'll throw a side, a first half side. I'll throw something in there in the marketplace. Yesterday, I had a first half that I threw up there. It's only because of the lines that day. It's very hard to beat a full line, a full spread, 30 minutes before a game. It's a very efficient market. So I'm going to throw things out there that I feel have overmoved, or, of course, player props, which I've done very well. Last week, perfect example, again, another 28 and 21 record over at WagerTalk, plus 12.4 units on my unit sizes. And NCAA basketball led the way there, 11 and 7. And NBA and NFL props broke about one a hair for the week. NCAA football 4 and 3. It's been, I got to be blunt, it's been since September. I'm having really good weeks, especially with the props. It's just funny right now. Someone I really respect just asked me to. He just said, "Hey, this looks like a pretty good line here. Dallas plus 3.5 as we speak." There's a live bet if anyone has anything. I really don't do NFL unless it's now. Right now, 6 days before the game. This is actually Thursday night game. Cowboys plus 3.5, which I'm gonna make this is unusual that you make a live bet. There's a live bet for you guys. There's a bet on the Cowboys there. A live bet on the Cowboys. Usually don't do that on air, but just so happens that happened there. Cowboys plus 3.5 versus the Lions. Boy, I got to tell you, though, are these Cowboys frauds? I don't know. They played so bad at the beginning of the year. Now they've come on. But maybe the Lions are frauds. The Lions, you look at these pre-flop odds at the beginning of the season. You had Buffalo Bills favorite to win a Super Bowl. You had the Lions and Kansas City real close behind them. Now there's yes-nos up at, I love some of these sports books that do this. BetMGM, Caesars, if you're allowed to play. Of course, I'm thrown out for using my brain, but for you guys, Caesars, I think the DraftKings and FanDuel's do them too. They put yes-no playoffs. I mean, Kansas City now is pick 'em, minus 110 both ways. The Lions, minus 110 both ways. Will they make the playoffs? Boy, I don't want to sound like a square here. I would think one of two will definitely make it. I think you're almost free rolling on the second one. But anyway, I did just bet the Cowboys there in that spot. But yeah, Steve, it's been the year of parity. Like I said, 30 years I've been saying this. NFL sides. Anything can and will happen. And sure enough, this weekend really proved it with Thursday, Friday into the Sunday. It's so tough to beat the NFL. I have a challenge for years with my guys on Fox Sports Radio, Jeff Schwartz and Brian know. And we have a challenge called the Crack Challenge. 5 minutes before the games start, or when everyone's up online at the counters across America making their bets at the sports books, 5 games against the spread, impossible. Both guys have really tried. They fared well this year. Brian's actually up a couple of units. He's fading fast, though. I hate to say it. I love Brian. Jeff Schwartz, I'm going to open up a site, I think. I'm going to betagainstjeff.com. That's how bad he's doing. That's my buddy. But I can't talk about Jeff. It's like 6'5", former NFL player. I shouldn't be talking about him. He's my buddy, though. That's how tough it is to beat NFL sides 5 minutes before the spread when everyone does. Everyone wants to go in line, and they want to stand in line and beat this. You know why, Steve? They don't know who they want. They're online literally 10 minutes before the game starts to put a bet in against the most efficient line in the world. And they just have to have action. They have to have action. I say that's fine. No big deal. Have action on something that's beatable long-term. NFL props, maybe some correlation, maybe some totals, maybe some first-half totals. Even a first-half side. Like yesterday, I gave out Miami first half. When the game had a major line move, yet the first half did not follow suit. So it just so happens very strange yesterday. By me giving out that first half, that won, but the game did not win. The game, like you could have got a push, but most people got a loss if they bet the game. So, situationally, NFL props are the thing to beat in the NFL. College basketball, I love this time of the year. I'm going to beat college basketball. I just go off, right, Steve? You almost have no words. I can just go off on tangents for an hour straight talking.
No, I love it because right after the show today, I'm going to record my Thursday night NFL video, and we took it on the chin last Thursday. We were 11-2 on the free Thursday night plays, and obviously Thursday was not kind for us either on Thanksgiving. But I'm already looking at this Dallas-Detroit game, and you're right. The South Point just moved to 3.5 in Vegas. Circa had moved about an hour ago. A lot of the other places are hanging 3 still. So 3.5 is available right now in that Detroit-Dallas game, and that's pretty important regardless of what side you like.
Let's show a live bet here. Here we go. Let's do it again. It's just I hate when sports books don't move off me. No, I'm joking. There's another 3,000. Let's see. So I definitely put my money where my mouth is. I don't just talk and I fire. So I usually don't bet that much on NFL sides, but we'll see what happens here. This should be a good spot for the Cowboys. Plus it's 3.5. They're playing that much better. Lions are almost a must win, but guess what? Everyone's a must win. Kansas City every week. Oh, must win. I love betting against must wins. Why? I get that extra half a point. I get that extra tax. There's tax involved. The public loves bet. Who's betting the Cowboys on the road against a primetime game in the primetime game versus the Lions? Well, Green Bay just proved that was wrong. I actually like I actually like Detroit this week, but yeah.
So did I. That was one I missed on Thursday when we were talking about the Thursday games. I mean, that's why I'm hesitant on this as well, because I thought that was the spot for the Lions, even though I like the Packers this year. These are 2 bad defensive teams. I think we have to throw that out there. I did have the over in the Detroit game also, so I got a little bit back with that on Thursday. Dallas obviously is terrible defensively for the most part. By the way, Bill, 53.5 for this total. I'm even seeing a 54 offshore right now. And then let's go down to Sunday's games. What? A 33.5 showing between Tennessee and Cleveland. A 20-point difference between the high and the lows, and this is the highest total this week on Thursday Night Football.
That is the lowest total I've seen in the NFL in a long time, without snow or weather involved.
Yeah, I haven't checked the weather yet, but I'll tell you what, man, are the Titans bad. You talked about bad teams. I thoroughly agree with you. I said it to Gianni earlier. I ran numbers on this decades ago. If you blindly play non-playoff teams against must-win scenarios, you make money in the NFL in December for the reasons you mentioned. Cleveland obviously doesn't qualify. That's a nothing game there. But I also, with the fade the public, the one filter I use, and by the way, it's a 41-27 now, fading the public. So that's one of the angles you could use near kickoff, I guess, because you're probably getting a little extra line value sometimes, is to not play the really, really bad teams when you're fading the public. And the Titans, the Saints, the public's been against them every week. And if you took those 2 out of the equation, I bet you're hitting even higher this year. Titans really bad right now offensively.
By the way, folks, in case there's weather in that Cleveland game.
I'm going to look for you now.
it can even go lower. That total may even go lower. And I'll be blunt. I love when the game comes on a Sunday and they show the snow and the snow plows and everything going on. Well, let me just tell you something. After the public cumulatively bets enough money to move that under, I go in and bet the over. Over is the right play after the public buries, especially on a total like this. God forbid it goes down, because there was some Patriot games before that went down 2.5, 3, 4 points. Key number 31 here. That would be unbelievable. But even 33, good number to go over there. If there is weather and the bets are based on weather and the line movement's based on weather. So that's just something that spontaneously I thought about.
Yeah, Bill, I got the weather report for you here.
Yep.
So one thing I'd like to do too, I kind of behind the scenes on how I look at these things. DraftKings is one that puts out, I believe the Superbook in Las Vegas does. They put out numbers the week before. So you can always compare to what the number would have been. I'm just pulling up DraftKings. By the way, odds logic screen, you can do all this for free. I've got a 7-day trial available, Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com. But last week on Tuesday, the look-ahead line was 35.5. It quickly got bet down within an hour to 34.5. So the look-ahead line last week was 34.5. It's now 33.5. So not a lot of movement. The weather report is calling for half an inch on Saturday night into Sunday morning, a 0.2 inches. So about a half an inch of snow in Cleveland is like 70 degrees sunshine in Miami. That's nothing. The high is 31 degrees on Sunday, 23 low. None of that's going to affect scoring for the most part, but there is 14-mile-per-hour winds every day. That's not extreme. That's what I look for, is the wind. I thoroughly agree with you about snow and rain. Rain actually helps scoring, and you'll still see those totals drop a couple points when it's a rainy game. Wide receivers, running backs, they know which way they're cutting when they have the ball. It's an advantage for slippery situations. And it doesn't look like weather's going to be a huge issue here. It's going to be more the Titans and Browns offenses, which are going to be the huge issue.
Yeah, and we're not recommending a play by the way.
Correct.
We're just talking about situational games that could happen. I will give a free play out here, though. It's funny. There's my South Point account, and there's the two bets I just made on Cowboys. But you can look at that bet. Below that is a $500 bet, which I bought to 3 in college basketball. That is Mid-Tennessee State +3 -20. South Point, that's the max bet you can bet on the app. It's $500. I would have bet it over and over again until the cows came home. However, they moved it right after I bet that, which I don't blame them. They should move it. That's the way you're supposed to book. You're supposed to book off guys that win long-term, and you move the line. So I do like Mid-Tennessee State. And for the books that allow you 10 cents extra to buy, +3, the 2 and the 3 is very, very valuable in college basketball. I buy up to the number, not off the number or not to the half. So if you're betting a favorite -2.5, I'll go -2, -20. You're betting a dog +2.5, you'll go +3, -20. This is one of the ones I do like. Been on a roll here with college basketball. Hope to continue that. However, if your book charges you more than that, most local guys will charge you the 10 cents. But if it charges more than that, just take the 2.5. I won't go. I won't spend 20 cents. Put it that way. I won't spend on a 3. It's actually worth a little bit more. When I worked for Pinnacle back in 26 years ago, the owner of Pinnacle, he said if he charged the right amount to buy onto the 2 and 3, he wouldn't get any business. So if he charged the 17 cents that it should be to buy onto the 3, instead of the 110, he wouldn't get any customers. So that's the way it was then. However, now there's new ownership. It's not like it was when the 3 amigos, when the 3 wise men, I like to call them, one passed away, one is still around, but he's retired, and the other one also in the Hall of Fame here in town, lives over in Spain. When these guys were owned Pinnacle, and when you had Henry and Monty, that's the nicknames, real name, Jimmy Everett and Stanley Thompson. When they ran Pinnacle, my God, there was the Pinnacle lean. You didn't have to know anything. You could just bet based on the Pinnacle lean. They were a betting shop back then too. So they would take bets from sharp guys, maybe hold the line for a couple minutes, bang, they bet themselves. It was an amazing time. So I can go off on these stories here.
No, I love it, Bill. I mean, black, whatever day it was, 2006 changed everything.
Yeah.
They started arresting guys at airports, and they stuck that in like page 200 and something of a port security bill in Congress. Yeah. And I bring that up because then Pinnacle kind of went exclusive offshore only. I mean, a non-U.S. after that because they didn't want to deal with it. And yeah, the Pinnacle lien, back in the early 2000s was a very unique handicapping factor. It was almost too easy in hindsight. I remember back in the day, you'd have multiple accounts. You'd get 2 or 3 point middles on the blind with different offshore books in college basketball, pro football, even you get a 1 point difference. You and I have done this long enough to remember those days. A lot of people now can't comprehend pulling up an odds screen, and that some of them weren't on the odds screen is why you got the differences. But you could have multiple accounts, and tonight in basketball, you'd be getting a -2, +4, same game. To even have to handicap it, just play both sides. Cross bets in hockey, baseball, the Golden Day. That's why it's hard for me to get excited about all this legalized sports betting now. It's made it worse, in my opinion.
I did an interview last week with a Chicago newspaper. I put it up on my Twitter feed. I actually now wish it wasn't repealed. I wish it wasn't PASPA wasn't repealed. It's only hurt the public. It's only hurt these kids. And, it's not only kids, lawyers, doctors, businessmen, Wall Street type. It's so accepted now, gambling. And no one respects price and value. No one respects, I should say price, not value. No one respects price.
Correct.
And that's the reason why it's made it harder for guys like us that bet for a living. It's made it harder for me because now even teasers, I used to lay $1.10, here in town. I laid even back in the day on 6-point teasers. The lowest is $1.35. You won't see me giving out a teaser. It's not fair to the public because the DraftKings and FanDuels of the world and all the bigger books, now they said, oh, well, they're charging $1.35. Let us charge. You can't find that in this town. This book's charging $1.60 here in town on teasers because it's being so accepted by the new genre of sports bettor. They don't know any better. They were raised on ESPN and, Stephen A, all these guys talking about games and sports. Oh, they can do this. And, it actually hurts the sports bettor like myself. So these kids, like I said, it's the stoolies and stuff. They all love gambling and everything. They don't care about the price. They don't care what they're laying. They don't care that it used to be -110 on both sides or even 10-cent baseball. They don't care what it used to be. They just want to be in action now. And, now it's just it's ridiculous. It really is to find value. That's why I appreciate a couple of our shops in town. Westgate does 105 juice on all the primetime games. So Monday, Thursday, and Sunday nights, they do 105 on sides. You have also BetMGM. They do 105 pricing on Thursday night, 102 an hour before the game starts. So that kind of makes me feel good. There is some discounts out there. But then again, I'm telling you, Steve, you lay 102 instead of 110, people don't care. It's unbelievable.
No, you're preaching to the choir. We got to do a show together sometime for like another hour because I'd love to go down these rabbit holes because I'm 100% with you. I've said this for decades. You remember the match books, the World Sports Exchanges. We can say those names now because they don't exist anymore. We're not going to get in trouble. Those are history. But it always amazed me that they didn't take off. And what happens is it's sharps eating sharps. They cannibalize each other on the betting exchanges because we're the only ones that care about -101, -102 juice. And there's no public to take the other side. That's where Pinnacle was unique because they do have a little bit more balance. But it amazes me, Bill, that people do not care. They only care about wins and losses.
That's it.
And if they cared also, they wouldn't be parlaying everything at an 18% house edge. The money line parlays, you started off with that earlier. I've said this for decades. You're not changing the math when you take 2 or 3 favorites and put them together in a non-correlated money line parlay. All you are doing is lessening the risk a little bit. So I get maybe there's a reason to do that for some people. But you're not changing the math. What you are changing the math is when you're laying 102 for every 100 you're winning over hundreds and hundreds of bets. When you lose a little less than 50% of the time, you're saving a lot of money every time. But it's a remarkable phenomenon. Let me ask you real quick. I want to get to an NBA prop too before I let you go. But real quick, we're in the prediction market business or the prediction business, the future prediction business. Where do you see the legalized sporting landscape in 5 years from now, 10 years from now? What I'm hoping happens is this is the wild, wild west. We're in the 1880s. Europe is in the 1960s, 1970s already. They've got some exchanges like Betfair that's been around for several decades. Will the public eventually wise up? Will we kind of weed out the recreational guys that are never going to get it? Will we ever get to an exchange model? I'd love to get you and Gianni on board with me. Let's go open an exchange right now. It's something that's been on my to-do list for 20 years, but I just mentioned the reasons why it doesn't work, at least now. What is your prediction 5-10 years from now? Will it get better?
I thought Kalshi was going to take over the world here. Now you have class action lawsuits across the country. Kalshi may have put up some of the markets themselves, which is illegal. It's not a peer-to-peer kind of thing. This is what I'm seeing. This is only, this is only presumed. I really don't know the actual case here. I just thought that Kalshi was going to take over. Kalshi taking out giant ads here on the Strip, all in Las Vegas, and I thought their model was going to take over the world, but it looks like right now they have some hurdles here. A judge said last week that Kalshi's illegal in Nevada. So this is unbelievable what's happening here. I was hoping they were going to take over the world, but I'll tell you right now, this Las Vegas, they're still like the movie Casino with Robert De Niro as playing Ace Rothstein, and then the county commissioner comes in and says, the house is doing good tonight. Appreciate you taking your time to see a civil servant. And what does he say in the end? Mr. Rothstein, you people will never know how it works out here. You're all just our guests. That's exactly what it is. This is still a cowboy town in many ways. They're not like, even though the DraftKings office is, a couple miles down the road here, DraftKings, where they make the decisions for the public, they make the decisions on the lines across America. However, even though the office is here, it doesn't matter. You can't bet here. And I don't know if they'll ever be here. They're not even focusing on Nevada and anymore. They're actually going to looking into those exchange markets themselves. So where do I see it? Well, I hope we do get some exchanges here, and I hope they are legal one day. But right now, I don't see anything. What I'm going to tell you happens is going to be a big fallout for years from now. We've only hit the tip of the iceberg with these NBA players and NFL players, whatever it may be, of betting. You can't put this in kids' hands when they're playing in the stadiums. Even the college kids, they're getting paid now. They're playing in arenas and stadiums, and there's advertising all around the whole entire stadium, different sports books, special of the day. The announcers are talking about it. It's actually, to be real blunt, it's out of control. It's out of control. But we'll see it. We're going to see a fallout. Trust me. I'm just hoping that it does get corrected in certain ways. Well, it makes it better for us sports bettors. Look at this tax they're going to start charging next month. I mean, how do I bet 3, 6, 10? I mean, I'm a bettor. I'm a bettor at heart. I bet lots of my money, and I win lots of money. You're welcome to ask the guys at the South Point. You're welcome to ask the guys at Westgate, John Murray. I take a large check out of there every year. How do I now battle this thing where I have to pay tax on something I didn't even do? So if you don't even win, now I'm going to win. I'm going to pay tax anyway. But they're saying I'm going to have to pay more tax, or they're saying the bettors that are just bet big have to pay tax. Even if they lose, it's unbelievable what's happening. So there needs to be some things repealed and needs to be some things changed. So I go on forever. I'm sorry about the guys that are coming up on the show. I have never talked to Steve, so only follow each other on Twitter. So I had a lot of things to say.
No, we're good, Bill, because first of all, I'm usually the third guy after you. So we're basically filling my spot. But we do have Andrew McInnis up, but he's Canadian. He's extremely patient and kindful because he's Canadian. So we're good. And he's going to close us out here in a minute. But I want to let you out promoting. I do see that, by the way. Didn't get to some props today, so I'll let people get those from your page. 5-2, I believe, yesterday on Sunday. You are seeing it well. 70% all sports run over the past week. And also, you've got a 3-pack up for college football championship. We haven't even talked college football today. That was later this week on Friday. But Cyber 20 gets 20% off anything on Bill's page, on anybody's page. Unlimited uses today because, hey, it's Cyber Monday, December 1st. The Crack Man, what else you got going on?
I'm not a guy that talks about what I've done this week. I don't want to know about that. I'm not a guy that does that, though. Long term, that's where you want me. Long term. Like I said, if people would have followed me long term when I talked about it 2 months ago, you would have been prospering here, up 12.5 units again last week, 12.4 units. Every week I've been coming on this show saying how many units I'm up. If you follow the unit betting, that's exactly what you're going to do. So I do have a lot of things up there. I say get a package. Get a package. Get a month package. Get me through the end of the Super Bowl. I mean, contact the girls in the office. They'll make you a price for that. This is you want the props. You want the props off me. So props are where you want to go. Super Bowl coming up here. It doesn't sound like it is, right? Super Bowl 2 months away. That's all I can tell you. So lock me up. That's all I have to say. Thanks, Steve. Thanks everyone for watching and commenting. Appreciate it.
Yeah, Bill, great seeing you. We got to do this again soon. And by the way, technically, you did give out a prop because you came on with the bucket. You had a physical prop.
Give out a college basketball game. There you go.
That's right. Also an NFL game. Thursday NFL football free for you. Gave that out. So if you're just joining us, back it up. Watch him make a live bet here on WagerTalk TV. Thanks, Bill. Have a great week. It's the Crack Man. Once again, 20% off anything he's got right now at WagerTalk.com with Cyber 20. And I'm going to have a free NBA play in the Suns-Lakers game here in a moment to close out. But we got to get Andrew McInnis on because he's going to talk a little hockey, Monday Night Football. Andrew, waiting in the wings. Thank you so much for being here. I had to get my Canadian reference in. We're compliant. We had 2 Las Vegas guys. We're compliant now because we got our in-house Canadian. I haven't seen you for a while either. Hope things are going well. I hope your Thanksgiving a month ago was nice. Canadian Thanksgiving in October. And then you benefited from the Thanksgiving in November as well. How have things been going up north?
Yeah, great to see you, Steve. Miss the WagerTalk meet and greets and the meetups,
yes,
man.
I thought the same thing. Every time I see you, I think about meeting you all out there, and it was wonderful. Yeah, and I think about the basketball game, and we definitely need to do it again soon. No question about it.
Yeah, I talk with my friends about like the pros and cons of working from home, and yeah, I can, after this video is done, I get to go take my dog for a 40-minute walk. A lot of people don't get to do that during the day, but definitely does kind of hurt when you can't kind of hang out with your colleagues in person that much. But no, good to see you as always. And yeah, it was kind of funny last week. It's always a funny week for me to explain to people that we have different Thanksgiving here in Canada. So that's always fun. But it actually, the schedule, I wasn't really a fan of because hockey, hockey's my main sport.
Right.
And if you ask me, I would prefer to have the equal amount of games every single day. From content perspective and from picks perspective and sales perspective, I'll even add, is that I'd rather have like 6 or 7 games every single day. So last week, we had no puck time on Tuesday, no puck time on Thursday, very few games on Monday, and there was like 15 games on Wednesday, 15 games on Friday. It was very staggered, but I always love the Thursday Thanksgiving football because, hey, it's just Thursday for us, but we just get football here in Canada, so that's great. I wanted to add one thing look, Crack's talking about there, and I know that you're interested in this kind of stuff, Steve. Many people probably know this, but here in Canada, we don't get taxed on sports betting, and we don't get taxed on lottery winnings either. So it's super interesting, when you look at all this stuff coming out with the legalized betting and the regulated betting in the States. I know there's different ways we can look at it, but don't get me started on the actual taxes on other stuff in certain places here. But it is interesting when you go to make your bets, that is just non-taxable income. That is straight profitable right to your bank account, right to go spend. So it's kind of funny when you look at it. Like I know someone that won like a very small lottery, not like a massive, millions of dollars. The only thing is with the lottery here is that your privacy isn't granted to you. So they don't tax you, but they have the right to snap a picture of you and post all over the social media, not with the sports betting, but with the lottery stuff. So there are some pros and cons, I guess. But yeah, any money that we make or lose, there's no taxes coming out, whether it's on apps or whether it's in sportsbook casinos, whatever it is, that's extra income. That's tax-free.
Yeah, by the way, I'm pretty sure in the U.S. you can't decline having your photo snapped on like the $1 million prizes too. I think that's like on the back of the ticket. I'd have to check, but yeah, I'm not sure you can get out of that one either. So I'd rather still not pay the tax, the 30 or 40% they take out from the automatic payment there. That is one nice thing about betting up north. Hockey, let's stick with the hockey theme. Penguins, Flyers. Back in the day, my Washington Capitals used to play these teams in the Atlantic Division in the 90s when I used to follow hockey, but always been a heated rivalry. In-state Pennsylvania. They're about 6 hours apart, but in the same state. Flyers and Penguins. What are your thoughts on this one tonight on Monday?
Yeah, what a heated rivalry. You're absolutely right about that one, Steve. I used to love watching these two teams go head-to-head and even the Capitals and the Penguins going head-to-head as well. Of course, I grew up a Sidney Crosby fan with him being from my neck of the woods. This is a game that's kind of interesting because first and foremost, I will say the Metropolitan Division, which is, of course, the division that these two teams play in now, it's been the most competitive it's been in a couple of years. The wild card race is going to be unbelievable in the NHL this year, but you've got all kinds of teams in the Metro that are a lot more competitive this year. Columbus, Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, the Hurricanes, the Devils, all these teams are there. Pittsburgh started off hot, and nobody had expectations for them going into this season. In fact, Steve, it was, will Crosby actually decide to leave the Penguins? Will Malkin leave the Penguins? Will Chris Letang leave the Penguins? And a lot of those guys, they wanted to be Penguins for life, and there's a lot of loyalty when it comes to hockey, but especially when you've won some championships there as well. Well, they shocked everybody and got off to a very, very good start to the season. The regression has kind of hit this team. But when I look at this number here, I've got nothing else to do besides take the dog in this game. Looking at odds logic, looking at the live number here, I just think this number is a bit too big in favor of Philadelphia. We saw it open up at minus 160. Money has come in on Pitt. Now, I think Pinnacle, Bet Online, some of those spots showing minus 135 now. But this to me is one of those classic spots, Steve, where you have the more hungry team potentially going up against the team that is feeling a bit too good about themselves, coming in with some swagger. And, if you look at the last few games and you look at how these teams have been playing lately, you might be like, oh, this is the easiest bet in the world. I'm going to take Philadelphia. Well, they have the 9th worst expected goals against 5-on-5 the last 10 games, and they rely heavily on goaltending. And that's one stat and one subject I've looked at a lot more this year, Steve, has been goaltenders. Which goaltenders are playing well and they should be able to sustain it, and which teams are playing so far above the average analytically that they cannot sustain what they're doing. Philadelphia, 5-3 win against the Devils, 4-3 win against the Islanders, 4-2 win against the Panthers. They're feeling good about themselves coming into this one. Meanwhile, Pittsburgh just got slapped around on Saturday night against Toronto. I'll take the dog and the more motivated Pittsburgh team in this one.
A little dog action in the NHL from Andrew McInnis here on Monday with the Pittsburgh Penguins. And Andrew, we talked on Monday Night Football a little bit earlier, but I wanted to circle back here at the end of the show with your thoughts as well. Reminder, I've also got a standalone video on this game up with my thoughts, Patriots Giants. So when you're watching WagerTalk TV, make sure you click subscribe, of course, and you click that bell. You'll get an instant alert, including my Thursday Night Football video, which will be up later today into tomorrow, early in the week for you. I talked to Gianni about this. The Patriots aren't really looking all that public, which if you really look at this one on the surface, you'd be surprised by that because you've got a New England team that's got one of the best records in the NFL this year. You got a Giants team that's 2-10. New England, I believe, has won it's like 8 or 9 in a row here, and they've covered all those games but 2. Giants, meanwhile, have been covering but losing. They've lost 6 straight. Yet the line's been hovering around 7. We are starting to see some 7.5s. Any side total player props catch your attention in this one tonight on Monday?
Just the player props for me in this one here. Number 2 at NFL player props on the NFL season, plus 30 unit NFL player prop run for me. It's mostly where I rock when it comes to the NFL here, Steve. And I've got 2 that I'm going to mention. The first one, we're going to go over with Jackson Dart on his passing yards. The free play, the number it was at the time my free play giving out was over 205.5 passing yards. Obviously coming off the injury, coming off the concussion, and the new coach. Everything I've read says they're not really going to draw up any running plays for him. It's not going to be any QB runs. It's going to be just sitting back in the pocket, just be a consistent passer. Number 2, this Patriots team is a top 2 rush defense in the entire league. Once they shut down the run for the Giants, it's going to be passing only for them. Look at this point spread here, -7 for the Patriots. Game script wise, at certain points, there's going to be no choice for the Giants to have to throw the ball, have to look deep, and have to try and make some big plays. So I do think Jackson Dart goes over this number, and we have seen quarterbacks recently go over this number against the Patriots simply because they have no choice. When I look towards the attempts, when I look towards the completions, I would certainly look at those as well, but I do think this number is just a bit low, so I would look towards Jackson Dart to have himself a day, and I'll tell you, a lot of that has to do with the fact that I don't expect him to run much today at all, so whether it's short or long passes, I do think that he gets there over on that one. The next one I got to go to here, this might be a little bit contrarian because this is a tight end that people have kind of fallen in love with here this season. I'm going to go under on Hunter Henry's receiving yards. Now, the number that I'm seeing right now is 38.5 receiving yards for Hunter Henry. You've got a Patriots or a Giants defense, that ranks 24th overall against the pass, but they are 8th overall against tight ends. And I just love differences like that, Steve. Like, how can they be so bad overall against the pass, but for some reason, that one particular position, tight ends, they do pretty well against, ranking at number 8. So under 38.5, there's a lot of receiver options for the Patriots, but maybe, just maybe, this is the one position this Giants defense is pretty good against. I was joking around on my prop show with Andy Lang. Let's play a fun game. Try and say something nice about the New York Giants. And I guess the one thing I can find that's nice about them is they're pretty good against tight ends. So we'll take Hunter Henry under on his receiving yards.
It's funny, Andrew, when Dan and Andy were doing all the season win props, like for every team throughout the summer here on WagerTalk Today, nobody can make a case for the Giants over, I believe it was 5.5. And I kept thinking, well, just from a contrarian standpoint, they'll probably outperform. But like, what would be that catalyst? And I was like, well, they do have Jackson Dart. He looked really good in the preseason. And now you look, they're 2-10. They're not going to probably get over 5.5 wins, but probably should, right? They've blown 2 big leads. They should be 4-8. Dart's coming, and Dart's been hurt. Otherwise, they maybe do win some of those games. And like, this is a situation where, yes, that under is going to win probably, but they could have gone the other way. And you talk about Dart's passing props over. I like where you're going with that, because even if they lose tonight as a 7-point dog, they probably throw the ball more if they're behind, right? And also, love where you pointed out, he's coming back off the concussion, which means he's going to probably not look to get hit, which means he's going to throw the ball more. So great props as always from Andrew McInnis. And he is a prop expert and a Canadian hockey expert, as you just heard here at WagerTalk.com. And Andrew, right now it's Cyber Monday. Cyber 20 is all you need to get 20% off each and everything you want to buy. It can be a 1 day, a 1 month, a 1 year, even discounted specials. Get an additional 20% off today and today only with Cyber 20. What do you have going on at WagerTalk.com?
It's just a great deal. It's a great deal. And if anybody wants to get involved short term, they can. Best bet tonight in the NHL, 4% play. Best bet tonight in NFL player prop. And I'm looking forward to that big time. As I mentioned, plus 30 unit long-term run with the player props. I believe number 3 in Wager Talk overall 2025 with player props, number 2 NFL overall. So looking forward to that. And last year I was the number 2 handicapper in the regular season with the NHL. So we kicked some ass in that. So if anybody wants to jump on board, like you said, Steve, Cyber 20 is the deal to use. We're handicapping every day. We're looking at NHL. We're looking at college basketball team totals. We're playing NFL, so I'm looking forward to it. Guys, if you want to jump on board, go to my page, wt.buzz/am, and hop on board for a long-term package. If not, we got some short-term stuff going on, 3 days, 7 days, or just try me out for 1 day. I got NFL best bet, NHL best bet. Let's have a great Monday. I'm looking forward to starting the week. I'm feeling good. NHL up tonight. NFL, Steve, it's going to be a great day.
Great to see Andrew. As always, Andrew, we'll do it again soon. Andrew McInnis, WagerTalk.com, wt.buzz/am. That promo code will work through the PM. Today is till midnight, 20% off with Cyber 20 at WagerTalk.com. I'm going to look at a little free NBA play here for you tonight on Monday. Big game for you. Peacock Network, 10:30 Eastern. Suns and Lakers. Free play coming up with analysis right here, right now. This is Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com, right back here on Wager Talk TV, breaking down your spotlight game tonight at 10:30 Eastern in the NBA between the Suns and the Lakers on national TV. And, of course, as we often do, we have 10:10 Eastern. Don't miss the start. It's 10:10 Eastern on Peacock. As always, LeBron James is front and center. He's been back for 4 games after missing the entire season. The Lakers have gone 4-0 straight up with him those past 4 games, but he is now listed as questionable tonight. The official NBA injury report is not out for the Lakers, but I'm seeing him as questionable. Some news sources. We saw an advanced line as high as 10. It was 5 this morning. Now it's 4.5 mid-afternoon. So I think that tells you what the betting markets think, and that's LeBron's not playing tonight. And while they've been a good team without him this season, I mentioned the 4 straight wins. They're still 11-4 straight up without LeBron. Not a good situation for the Lakers tonight. First of all, they did play 4 games with him. They've started to work him back in the lineup, so I think it could be a little bit of a shock to the system to pull him back out. And by the way, LeBron is still playing well. In those 4 games, he averaged about 32.5 minutes a game, 16.5 points, over 8 assists. He's one of the greatest passers ever. That might be the most underrated aspect of LeBron James, who has now played pro basketball more than half his life. He has been in the NBA longer than he has not been in the NBA, which is just also a remarkable stat. With that said, though, Doncic's been doing the heavy lifting this season, 37 minutes a game, 35 points a game. Austin Reeves, our new superstar, 36 minutes, 28.5, 29 points a game. So they're okay if LeBron's not there, but the scheduling spot is still not good for the Lakers, especially with 2 other guys having to do a lot of heavy lifting. The reason I say that is because it's a back-to-back no-rest situation after beating New Orleans last night but failing to cover at home. And, of course, they had that big game against Dallas Friday night, the National TV Cup game, in which they won and barely covered by about 0.5 point. So, yes, this is now the Lakers' 3rd game in 4 nights, back-to-back no-rest situation. And it should be a very focused spot for Phoenix, who comes in with rest after losing to 2 of the best teams in the NBA. Lost at Oklahoma City, and they also lost at home against Denver on Saturday, Friday and Saturday. No shame in those losses, as they were a dog in both games. Also lost against Houston a few games before that. But otherwise, they've won their other 4 games, and they'd won 8 of their previous 9 if you take out those Class A opponents. Yes, the Lakers are maybe a Class A team, but I think they could be a little shorthanded tonight. And the scheduling spot is also not good for LA. I think we have a live dog alert here with the Phoenix Suns tonight. Take a look at Phoenix plus the 4.5 to +5. That game once again at 10:10 Eastern Monday night on the Peacock Network tonight on Monday. Hey, don't forget, there's Monday Night Football. We do have that Patriots Giants game. I've got a free play with analysis and a standalone video for that game right here on WagerTalk TV. Make sure you're hitting subscribe and you're clicking that bell so you get an instant alert when free plays or videos are posted each and every day. And there will be more basketball free play videos popping up here in the month of December now that football is starting to wind down. Also, I will have a ton of college football championship videos later this week here covering all your key games for this week of college championship action in football. Subscribe, click that bell, and if you're liking the free plays, all I ask is a quick thumbs up like and a positive comment below. Click the thumbs up like, positive comment below, because I do read the comments and I reply back. Who do you like tonight on Monday in the association? What sides or totals are you looking at in the NBA for Monday? Hey, drop them below and include some analysis as well. Let's learn and earn and win together here on WagerTalk TV. And if you want my personal best bets, I give you a lot of free plays here throughout the week, 15 to 20 free plays every week. Most of those are light TV leans. Sometimes these games make my best bet card, and the only way to know for sure is to be a direct client. Those are strong 4% plays. If you're playing the TV leans, maybe 1% of bankroll. But if you want those strong 4% best bets, including some NBA action tonight, I've got a couple strong best bets for Monday. Go to my page, Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com. Also, check out the bonus free play. The last cut for my best bet card is a bonus free play every day on my page. And also make sure anything you get today on Monday, use Cyber20. Cyber Monday, December 1st, and this is a fantastic special right now at WagerTalk.com. Across the board, every package, every product you buy, including discounted prices already, you get an additional 20% off the top of it. But today only on Monday, and you got to use promo code CYBER20, CYBER20 at checkout. Unlimited uses, unlimited cappers, unlimited purchases. Today only, Cyber Monday, Cyber20 gets you 20% off everything you buy, including my page, Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com. And of course, get there quicker with shortcut wt.buzz/SM. Don't forget to follow me on social media on X and Instagram at Steve Merril, 2 R's, 1 L, MERRIL, at Steve Merril on X and Instagram. And always stay tuned here to WagerTalk TV. Great more free play videos coming up next. Thanks for being with us here on Monday, Cyber20 once again gets it done. Andy Lang will be back tomorrow on Tuesday with another great episode of WagerTalk Today. A little sneak peek for you. Jesse Shule, Brian Power, the Prez, the original, Lawrence Presman. And then Andy Lang, of course, will have an NBA breakdown like I did for tomorrow on Tuesday. So must-see TV. Click subscribe, click that bell for an instant alert when it goes live at 12 noon Eastern. In the meantime, have a great Cyber Monday. Don't shop too much unless you're at WagerTalk.com. Then shop till you drop with Cyber20. We'll be back in about 23 hours. Have a great Monday. We'll talk to you again soon.